Test 1, 2. Check, check. Okay, test 1, 2. Test 1, 2. Check, check, test 1, 2. All right. Can you hear me, Amber? Okay.
Hey, dude. How's it going?
Good. How are you doing?
It's just nice to see your face.
Thank you. It's good to be here.
Good.
You looking forward to the St. Keepers event?
I'm looking forward to seeing people. That's my favorite part every time.
Excellent. Yeah.
Seeing people and hanging out.
Yeah. Well, I'm definitely going to miss it this time.
I know. I totally get it.
I'm going to just, let's try this again. Let me just type in a couple people here that were interested in joining and go from there. Oh, well. All right. How are you? So tell me about your class. Tell me about
Good. Yeah, so I had some seniors graduate. Actually, one's inside playing piano. He's tracking a piano album right now. So I have to be outside while he does that. So anyway, I had some spots open up, and they were right around the same time. And I'm like, I'm going to teach group online piano lessons. I can make a lot more money that way than doing and they don't have to be regional to me. They can be anywhere. So
yep,
that's what's happening.
That's
I'm
awesome.
actually mapping it out and trying to make my slides and all sorts of stuff right now. So it was good timing.
I love that. I think that is so smart. All right, Jim and Elle, can you hear me?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay. I wanted to ask you real quick, what were you thinking about teaching? I think I asked you this already, but.
Yeah, so it's funny that you asked that because I just pulled up the songwriting course that I was working on, but it was focused on mostly just finding your creative expression.
Yeah.
By going through a series of exercises, kind of I guess if the artist's way was taken into a course instead, with exercises that people can do with within a group, So that's kind of what I was thinking. I also have wanted to put together some stuff to kind of connect all of the ways that you could be a business owner in music, how to make money, how to make sure that you've got all your things in order, your bios and stuff like that, kind of like artist consulting. So I have a couple of little things that I've written out on paper and played with.
So smart. Let's jump into this. Hey, Catherine, how you doing? All right. It'll be great. So as you guys know, I'm kind of leaving Catch the Moon, starting a new thing. Writing's been on the wall a little bit, just because there's some ways in which Kathy does business that I have a different opinion on, and so there was a little bit of, without going into the nuts and bolts, I love her vision. I love this class. I love the students. I just think it's time for me to move on. So I'm leaving on good terms. Everything's good. Everything's fine. I get a lot of people concerned about me. Super appreciate all the concern, but everything's actually really good. And I'm very entrepreneurial by heart. And so I have a lot of ideas of things I want to do. And so this kind of gives me that freedom now to go pursue those things. So I'm really super excited about it. Plus I get to work on music again. So it's yay. Both producing and writing, I'm just super excited about it. So I discovered a while back that a lot of people, including myself, benefit if they have something that's sort of a cash flow maker, so that while you're pursuing your passion, you're not having to commit to like a full-time job, like going into an office, that type of thing. And one of the best ways, I've tried a bunch of different things. I actually tried day trading for about 2 years. I was a day trader. I mean, committed. I was absorbing books and classes, and I was part of groups, and I sold real estate for a while. This was all on the side, stuff I did on the side. It was very hard work, and it's very risky work. I'm not saying you can't do it, but I started realizing, actually the best piece of advice I ever got was somebody that said, what makes day traders last after the first year are the ones that actually really, really love it. And I realized I didn't really, really love it. I was in it for the money. I wanted to try to make money. I thought, oh, I could figure this out. Well, the people that really can figure it out are the ones that study it. They breathe it. They, just like you guys do with music. So when that really dawned on me, I had to face sort of the hard reality that I actually love just making music, and I love creating new things. I have a very creative brain. I love coming up with new ideas and harnessing those into reality. So most of you guys kind of know my story already. I was an engineer for 14 years. I got out of that. I was miserable doing it. That's what my degree was in aerospace engineering. Hated it. Never climbed the ladder because I didn't love it. I was fine at it. I never got fired or anything. I did my job, but I never really liked it. So I was doing music on the side, trying all these other things, flipping houses for a while, doing day trading, did a couple multi-level marketing things, and ended up always coming back to music, and realized this is what I love. So I took Kathy Heller's course about 3 years ago, fell in love with the idea of doing sync music, got super into that, and started getting a little bit better and better at it, but realized it's kind of a long game. And have you guys kind of noticed that as well? I mean, you have to kind of go into it with the knowing that this could take a while to really figure out and get good at. I probably was a little too, I don't know if I was stupid or brave, but I just thought, oh, I can figure this out in less than a year. Well, it takes a while. And when I really started realizing that it's going to take a while, I thought it's pretty important to figure out other ways of making some money so that you're not living paycheck to paycheck, or not just trading, time for money, just teaching a guitar class or something like that, that you can actually pursue your art, whatever that is. For most of us, it's all music, and then have something on the side generating money. So I got really into creating an online course, and I built a course called the Triple Threat Artist, which now I've partnered with a guy named Josh Doyle, and Amber's in that class. And it's a really fun class. It's a great class, and I'm going to get more involved in that. I've had to step away while I worked for Catch the Moon Music. But the reason why Kathy Heller, the reason why she hired me actually was because I had this experience with making my own class. And I started studying from some of the big, great teachers in this field, like Brendan Burchard, a little bit from Amy Porterfield, Rachel Hollis. Who else? There was a couple other people that I studied, and I studied from Kathy, watching what she does. And I kind of applied all this and put it into what I could do, and created an online course. And most of you kind of have already heard of that. This is not a pitch to sell you on that. But I just want to pull up that website real quick. Let's see here. And this is going to probably be, I'm going to be modifying it and updating it with some information, but this is all about learning to, this is a picture of Josh, but the video is actually still, what's going on, everybody? This is Zion Brown. This is still of me explaining the class, talking about what you want, experience freedom, just talk about the benefits. And then I have what's called an opt-in at the bottom of this page. And an opt-in is also called a lead magnet. A lead magnet is when you give something away for free. And I'm going to go into this in a few minutes, but the whole point of this is that you get people's emails. The most important thing you can do right now, starting today, starting whenever, is to get emails. It has been shown over and over again that people respond to emails and look at emails you're 40 times more likely to get somebody to respond through an email advertisement than you are social media. So you may be friends with, let's say, Berta. I don't know why, Berta. And Berta is your friend on Facebook, and you've got a class you're advertising, and you're like, I'm going to advertise to all my friends. And Berta sees that, and she's like, oh, that's interesting. I might come back to that. And she swipes up, and it's gone forever. She will never go back to that, I promise. As soon as it comes by her feed, if she doesn't click right then, she's not coming back to it. If it's an email, you have to do something about it. So if an email comes into you, you're always going to decide, am I going to delete this? Am I going to save this? Am I going to schedule this? Am I going to respond to this? You always make a decision. Every once in a while you go, I don't know what to do, and you just scroll past it, and then your email fills up. But there's a lot of people, including myself, that love to clean out their inboxes. So they go through, and even if they haven't looked at it in months, they come back to it. So email is super important, and that's why you want to collect people's emails. But there's rules about it. There's actually regulation on what you have to do. You have to get permission. So when you create an opt-in like this, the person that is putting their email in is giving the permission to say, yes, you can put me on your mailing list by doing this. Anyway, I'm getting ahead of myself, but I just wanted to jump and start off by saying I created a course. I got into this, and it's a small class. It's not very big. It's about 30 or 40 people in that class, and it just is awesome. It's a lot of fun. If you guys ever have an interest in music production, we love teaching, but there's other places too. We're not like the only music production place, but we enjoy it. Anyway, focusing in on this, learning the marketing, learning the website, learning the email system, learning how to build a course is what got me the attention with Catch the Moon Music to get a job with them. And it's been a really rewarding experience. I've learned a ton. So let's talk for just a second. Why would you want to do this? If you are a musician, Amber is an amazing pianist. Jiminelle, you're a songwriter. Catherine, I think you play the guitar and sing and are a songwriter as well, right? And you guys can chat in the notes if you want to there, if you don't want to unmute yourself. But these are the reasons why it's so important to have something that will be making you money so that you can focus on your craft. When you start to discover that the best business models are not trading time for money, it'll change your life. I learned this through doing real estate, actually, that when you start creating investments, when you start creating things that are making money for you on the side, so while you're sleeping, you're making money. It's an amazing, amazing feeling to have that going on. And then you're not having to trade hours for time. If you always live with that idea of, I've got to trade hours, like teach something or go to the store, and be a cashier or work at the bank, anything. If you're always trading time for money, you're always sort of caged by that. It's not a trap. It's employment is all it is. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing morally wrong with it, but it's hard to get away from it. It's hard to ever get past that to making really good money or for having more freedom so that you can do what you love. The reason I love online courses is several reasons. One, you're geographically free to work anywhere you want. You guys probably have seen this, I'll be on the road. I'll go to Vegas. I'll go to Orlando. I was in Orlando a few weeks ago or a couple months ago, and in Vegas a couple weeks ago, and I can just work from there. Two is when you really get a course set up, there's a lot of time you have to put in for the first couple months, but once you get established, you end up putting in only maybe 5 to 10 hours a week, and you're done. You don't have to, there's not a ton of time you have to put into it unless you're really trying to scale it and make it grow really big. So huge, important aspect as far as the time. Your customers can be worldwide, which is huge. Just like Amber was saying, when she's like, you know what, I'm going to start teaching this online. And I helped Mikey Myers start a guitar class. And it's the same thing. He doesn't have to keep trading his valuable time, getting in the car, going to a studio, getting his guitar out and doing stuff. He records all this stuff at home with some good lighting, a basic camera. You don't need an expensive camera. You can use a webcam. I did my whole course with a webcam. And you create, you do all this work up front. Therefore, you're not having to, what am I trying to say? you're geographically free from having to be at a studio, and all your customers can be anywhere in the world. In the triple threat artist class, we had a couple students in Germany. We had a student in Amsterdam. We had a student in Thailand. There was a student in Switzerland. And there was a student up at the North Pole at a research station, which is the craziest thing in the world. That's amazing. That is an incredible thing. And some in Canada. I mean, they can be anywhere as long as they have an internet connection. They can do this, and they can do it at their own schedule. That's huge benefits to this, right? The other thing I want to say before we really dive into the nuts and bolts of how to do this is this is a lot better than Patreon. So Patreon, if you guys don't know, is a service in which you can create an account and an experience and tell people, hey, I want to be your artist, basically. Like, you take your fans and they pay you $5 to $10 a month, and you go in and say, if you're a patron of me, then and pay me $5 a month, I will let you have my first, like anytime I release something, you're going to be the first to know. And you give them these little promises and benefits. And I'm going to send you swag if you are at the $50 level. And I did Patreon for a little bit. And now there's probably people that really could tell that all the mistakes I made and say, well, you didn't do this, this, and this. I get that. But what I found is my heart wasn't in it. When you start having to ask people for money to just believe in you instead of giving back actual value in the form of, instead of just value with your art, but in the form of teaching, or the value as far as the discipline, the skill that you're giving them, it feels a lot better to me. I'm not saying that there's anything wrong. If you know how to make money on Patreon, that's awesome. Go for it. Do it. It wasn't for me because I felt always as if I was begging from people. It's like asking charity. It's like knocking on doors and saying, hey, will you give me money for this charity? It gets hard. It's a hard way to make money, and I don't personally recommend it. When you have an online course that's just giving value, people start coming to you to begging to be in your class. That's an amazing feeling. It switches the role from you begging people for money, people saying, I want to be part of what you have because I love what you're doing. So have any of you guys ever done Patreon? Amber, did you ever do it? No? Jim and Al, I'm curious.
We did Kickstarter, but not Patreon.
Okay. How did you do with that?
We did really well with Kickstarter.
Oh, wow.
But it's so time consuming. It was really bad time consuming. Like on the front end, and then when you do fulfillment. So I probably wouldn't do it again.
How about you, Jim and Al?
I started up one, and that was about as far as I had gotten, but I was kind of in a similar space of feeling like I wasn't ready to ask for money, or I don't know, just like, even just felt ambitious to be like, oh, I'm going to create a song a week, or I'm going to share this video every month or whatever. Felt really ambitious too.
Yeah. And you know what's weird about it is I actually wrote down people that I thought, these are just, I absolutely know if I ask them for money that they'll absolutely say, sure, I'd love to support you, because they're always asking about my music. They're always seeing how I'm doing. I thought for sure they'd be the ones that would just jump at the chance and say, of course I'll support you. They were not. In fact, they were a little put off when I mentioned I'd like to see if you'd like to be a patron of mine. And it actually caused some friction in my friendships, which was really weird. And I think that's more about them than it was me. I don't think there's anything wrong with asking somebody to support you, but it was weird. It was really awkward, and I'm not going to probably ever do that again, personally. Anyway, I wanted to just bring that up, that there's a big difference between when you are teaching something and giving something to the world through the form of value, tons of value. You can command a lot more respect from people, just in general. All right. Realistic expectations. This is not a get-rich scheme at all. Now, I think this is one of the easiest ways to make money. And I think if you're an artist, or you're a musician, or you have a skill or talent, it's a no-brainer. That's just my personal opinion. But I will not tell you in any form that this is like just super easy. It's not. Even though the email you got is called Stupid Easy. That's one of the branding companies that we're helping kind of start about helping people teach things. Anyway, this isn't a get-rich scheme. However, when you really learn it, you'll go, oh my gosh, that's so much easier than doing this, this, and this. And it's kind of second nature to you. Once you learn how to do this, you can apply it to anything. You can teach makeup design or makeup artistry. You can teach tattooing. You can teach parenting. You can teach how to become a kindergarten teacher. You can teach anything. And I love that about this, is that it's not limited to just artists. It can be anything. Maybe you're great with doing taxes every year. You can teach a whole course on just how to just dominate your taxes. And that's a really awesome, amazing thing to do. Now, it's not a credited course. It's not going to be, people aren't going to be able to go to university, and get credit for this unless you figure that out. I've no idea how to do that, to make an accredited course. But how amazing is it to just be able to teach a skill to anybody in the world without having them have to come to a studio or be in your region or be in your time zone? Doesn't even matter. It's pretty cool. All right. It's also extremely rewarding when you start seeing people like progress, and in Amber, you've seen this a lot too, of watching students actually get good at what they do. It's an amazing, amazing feeling. I want to walk you through how to kind of go about this. And there's 5 steps. I've got another monitor here. I'm going to just pull this up real quick. All right, hold on here. Having one of those days where I'm having a lot of technical difficulty. You guys are too patient. Jim and Al, you're in the Access course or the 6-figure songwriting course?
I'm in 6-figure songwriting.
Okay, cool. So you have till January?
Yep.
Awesome.
Yeah. My class isn't going to disappear after January, though, right? I'll still be able to log in.
You can still log into the curriculum, yeah.
Right.
But they, I think as far as like the Facebook group, that'll dissolve and go into the next thing.
Okay, that sounds about right.
Yeah.
So definitely have some time.
Yeah. All right. So I'm going to kind of walk you through this, and I'm going to show you, how do I do this? All right. We'll just do it like this. I'm going to kind of give you an overview of what this course is all about. And this is terrible. Hold on. Export. I can just export this as slides, right? Presentation, slides, PDF. Export. I made a little presentation, and for some reason it doesn't show the video very well, so I'm going to just do this manually. All right. So I broke it into 5 areas that I think are really important. And again, this is a course I'm going to be teaching. You're getting it all for free because I'm just giving you this crash course because this is really good for me to practice this. So thank you guys for being here and doing this with me. All right, so number 1 is what I suggest people do is jump right in, just immediately. And if you're interested in this, one of the ways you jump in is you get Kajabi. Kajabi is a platform that you're going to end up building a course in. You do not have to use Kajabi, but if you use it, I have a discount because I'm affiliate with them. So definitely use my link because you'll get an extra 10% off. But Kajabi is like the platform, and here's why it's better than other ones. So Kathy Heller, in her classes, she uses a tool called Teachable, and Teachable is about $3.99 a month. It's very limited in what it can do. It has terrible web design. It's not user friendly. And then when you go to do your database with sending out your emails, you need another service. So she was using Infusionsoft, which is this huge, robust service that's very confusing. And she was paying about $7.99 for that service a month, connecting it to Teachable. And then when she wants to do marketing and funnels, she uses another platform called ClickFunnels, which was like another $200 per month. And then when she wanted to set up her website, she used another service called Squarespace, and she connected all these together. When I first came in, I was like, holy crap, you don't need to do anything. Yes, Confusionsoft. It's terrible. I said, you get out of this platform. We're going to go to Kajabi. And she's like, what is Kajabi? And I said, it's like the thing. So it's the shit. You can build your website. You can, all your courses, all your outline of courses, and I'll show you. I'll give you a quick tour of what it's about. All your emails are through that, all your contacts, all your payment systems, everything is in one place. And I think I pay $199 a month. And I think there's even a cheaper version, like $149 a month. Way cheaper. This is another one of the most amazing things about this. There's no overhead to this except a little bit of software that you use. If you try to start a cafe or a coffee shop, you'd be paying for restaurant equipment and, you know, the building and rent and all those things. Is so much cheaper. So first thing I always tell people is just get Kajabi and just jump in and start. Next, you're going to decide on a school name. You're going to jump in and figure out school name. This can be changed a little bit down the road, so you don't have to like rock solid it. It doesn't have to be in stone, but I always suggest just start with a school name. It'll inspire you. By doing these two things, it'll just start, your wheels will just start turning like crazy. So if you're teaching piano, for instance, you might say, use the word keys or the word piano or performance or something like that in the name. Maybe Amber's, I don't know. I'm not very creative at the moment.
I'm going to do piano for teens. I'm keeping it so simple using SEO.
And that's very descriptive too, because it lets you, this is what
I've taken marketing classes and they just don't make it fun the way we would want to make it fun. Like you just got to use SEO and make it so simple.
Yep. And it's very important. So that's really super important. Next is you're going to get a domain, and that kind of decides on the name, when you decide on the name of your class, it's going to really dictate what kind of domains are available. Your domain is your URL, obviously. So I chose the Triple Threat Artist because that was available, and because I didn't want to limit myself to just production, because I thought, what if I want to, make a songwriting class or make a class about vocals? I haven't done any of that, but I wanted it to house other things. So I thought the Triple Threat Artist was a good name, and it was available. Then you want to grab your social media. So if you have Piano for Teens, is that what you called it? You want to try to get that Facebook page. You want to get that Instagram. You want to get that Twitter, just to lock it up. You don't have to do anything with it right now. We're not going to do anything. Just lock those things up. And again, if you go back and go, you know what, this is a bad name, then you'll have to, of course, get a different domain and socials. Domains are pretty cheap. They're about $14 a year if it's available, if it's really fresh and available. If it's something that's very common words, it might be more expensive. All right, so that's just like jump in. So the very first thing I do is I teach get in quick, and it'll really inspire you. If I sat here and try to give you all this head knowledge and clarify everything, you would get so like, oh, this is boring. I just want to work. I want to dig into this stuff. So clarify is the next step. That's when we're going to stop and really get the big picture about what we want to do. And this is going to be all about setting goals. I think it's really important to go through a goal setting process, maybe a vision board with Pinterest or something like that, to figure out where you want to see this go. And that can evolve. None of this is in stone. We put so much pressure on ourselves to figure it all out immediately. And I said, just let things evolve. The next thing is we want to explore our expertise. So for some of you guys, most of you in here that are going to watch this or watch the replay already know what your expertise is. You're like, I'm an amazing songwriter, and that's what I'm going to teach. But you might want to narrow that. You might want to say, I'm a really good songwriter for pop music, or really good country, or hip hop, or I love, a specific instrument or something like that. Like I love Irish bagpipe music, and I'm going to teach bagpipes for Irish music. When you get really, what's the right word? If you get more selective, you actually have a stronger chance of spreading a bigger message. More people are apt to follow it and get into what you're doing if you have a more specific message. If you try to do everything, like if you're just like, I'm just going to just teach any kind of songwriting, it might be too big of a broad topic to do that. Next is you're going to start creating an ideal customer. And I have a whole way in which I go about teaching how to do this. Finding ideal customers, like creating an avatar of like who would be the person to do this. And this is going to apply when you start marketing. And next you're going to start sketching it out. You're going to start sketching it out, like just saying, I think Amber was talking about, or somebody was talking about earlier, about just like kind of throwing ideas out there and saying, what if I did this? What if I did this? What if I did these modules? What if I taught these things, but not these things? Just start getting brainstorming it out. So the next phase is not what you would expect. This is one of the most important phases, in my opinion, and this is giving value. And what I strongly recommend is, instead of trying to create a product and then find people to buy it, do it the other way around. Do it completely opposite. I want you to find people that would be your ideal customer and get to know them and email them and get their email and connect with them on social media before you ever have a product ready, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. I'm sharing what I know. I'm giving value as much as I can so that we build trust. Now, you guys all know me already, so that's not as a big a deal. But for people that are new, like if somebody was brand new and watched the replay of this call, they don't know me from Adam. So they want to know that I actually have something to offer them, right? So this is one of the most important things. What I recommend is you start a YouTube channel and you just start giving value every single week. I have a little plan of attack on how I do that. You give value through like a YouTube live video. Then you break that out. Let's see, that's the next, here it is, value videos. You break that video out into a blog. So then you put it into a blog, which Kajabi has a whole blog area. You don't have to buy any more software. You do it all in Kajabi. And then you have a blog. Then you're going to send an email blast out to all the people that you have on your list, which at first you might only have 2, but after a while you'll have hundreds. And those emails get that blog first. Then you're going to post this video, and not the video itself, but the blog URL. You're going to post that to Facebook. You're going to post it to Instagram. You're going to post it to Twitter and LinkedIn if you want to do that as well. Then you're going to break those videos into 5 different socials posts you're going to make throughout the week. You guys ever heard of an info card or a graphic card? It's like a picture. You see this on Instagram all the time. It's a picture of, a girl like contemplating, and it'll say, have some inspirational quote, above it. Those graphic cards are incredible. You're going to have 5 of those that are going to be posted, and you're going to schedule all this out. So every week you're going to do a value video, which will become a blog, which will become an email, which will become 5 posts throughout the week that'll be scheduled. And you'll be done setting that all up once a week. You'll do this once a week and you'll be done. It'll take a couple hours to set it all up, and you'll be done for the week, which is amazing. This right here is going to be one of the most important things you do. You will draw people. You will draw people. And there's really good tutorials on how to do this in Kajabi. I have my own method of doing it that I've kind of formulated from working with different people. And it's actually fun. Once you start doing it, it's actually a lot of fun. It's not hard. You do the blog email, you do your social media, and then if you want to give any extra. So giving extra is like if you just jump on Facebook Live or you jump on YouTube Live and you just make a quick thing, say, hey, y'all, I just came up with this crazy idea, or I just went to this concert and I had this epiphany. I was thinking about songwriting the other day and I heard this song by Taylor Swift and I was thinking, the chord progression right here is really cool. I wouldn't have thought of that. And then I was comparing it to this AC/DC song, and those little extra things make you so human. It makes it so it's less formulaic, and it attaches yourself to, it gives you an online presence. All right, we're going to move on. Then the next phase, after you get this sort of into this giving value phase going, you're now going to build your course. So after you've set up this way of giving value, you're going to do that every single week, but it'll only take you about 2 hours every week once you get it down to a system. And then the rest of your time that you're awake, you're going to start building out your course. And you're going to create it in 5 modules. It's really important to do things in 5 modules. In fact, this tutorial right now is in 5 pieces. And it just works. And there's a lot of reasons for why 5 works. Brendan Burchard, one of the biggest online teachers of online classes, teaches this method as well. And I think it's really important. Each module will be broken into value. So like if I'm teaching music production, I might start out by saying, number 1 is your studio setup, okay? Number 2 is learning to train your ear. Number 3 is getting familiar with your DAW and effects. Number 4 is recording vocals. Number 5 is mixing and mastering. So I broke the whole thing of all music production to 5 pieces. So you got to figure out how to do that as well. It's interesting to note that you don't have to be as detailed as you think you might be. When I did the Triple Threat Artist course, I made 138 videos on how to do music production. And there still has not been one student that's gotten through all those videos. And that class has been out for 2 years or a year and a half. It's way too many. You don't need that many. Each module only needs about 4 videos. So we're talking 20 videos maybe. And when I say videos, it doesn't have to be you talking. If you're not camera confident, and it took me a long time to get over a lot of my insecurities and just be on camera, you don't have to be camera confident. You can just have a graphic card, kind of like what you're seeing right now. You just have a card and you hear my voice and I just talk about things. You can do that for all your videos. Most of Kathy Heller's videos are like this. If you can, show your face, even in the small little thing down on the slide, or just have times where you're showing your face. It's much better. It's much more engaging as a video to watch, and people will appreciate your content a little bit more, but you don't have to do it. Okay. Which leads me to another point. How do you make videos? How do you make videos? Let me give you a quick crash course. You need a camera. And again, I would recommend a camera. This is a Logitech. I think they call this a C22 or something. I can't remember. It is about $80, and it is the most widely used camera for YouTubers. More YouTubers and people that do online courses use this camera than any other camera I can think of. This little guy right here, I did my entire class on. Now, I'm currently using a DSLR mirrorless camera. It's a Lumix G7. It's about a $500 camera, but it took me a while to afford this, and it took me a while to even think it's worth it. I like the colorization and the lighting I get from this camera, but you don't have to have it, okay? Oh, I just realized anybody watching the replay probably can't see my camera. So this is me. This is my camera. This is how I look. And notice how the background is a little bit blurry, but I'm in focus. That is called a field of view. And a good camera has a really good field of view. Again, you don't have to have that. This is the webcam I was just talking about. It's a Logitech. It just fits over your monitor like this. You can just clip it over the top of your monitor and you're good to go. It's USB. It's great. It does have a microphone on it. I don't recommend the microphone. I recommend using an external microphone. It's better if your audio sounds better than your video. Your video actually doesn't have to be that great, but if your audio is great, it's going to be way more engaging. Seems opposite, doesn't it? So I'm using a professional microphone. This is a Sennheiser 421. It's kind of an old mic. It's a dynamic mic, but I love it because it's very good. It just works with my voice. It has sort of a warm feeling to it. It's kind of like a radio mic. I like it. So you're going to have a computer. You're going to have a camera. You're going to have a microphone. Put that together. You're good to go. You got the setup now to have the equipment you need. Now you need a software to record videos. Most computers can record video with their native apps. So like on a Mac, you can record video in QuickTime. You can download a program called OBS, which is a free program, obs.com, and it allows you to tweak your microphone and screen settings and how things are going to look on your screen when you record it. I personally love using a program called ScreenFlow, and I can put the link in I don't have an affiliate program with them, but it's it's cheaper than like Final Cut Pro, which is the big one that Apple provides. But this one I really like. I think it's a great software. It's solid. ScreenFlow is great. It's not the highest quality, but it really works well it's very versatile, easy to use too. All right, so let's get back into that. So you're going to have to learn how to make videos, and I'm going to have in the course that I put together at some point, I will have information about. Yes, you can absolutely use Final Cut. It's a great program. In fact, I downloaded Final Cut and I purchased it. It's about $199, and I have never used it because I realized there's a learning curve and I just haven't had time to learn it. So I still use ScreenFlow. So yeah, if you know Final Cut, that's actually like the best thing you could be using. So I absolutely encourage you to use that. Okay, so you're going to create these modules. Then for every module of your 5 modules, you need to have a download. You need to have something that people can download. It doesn't have to be in so you might have 5 courses in each module, 4 or 5 courses, that's all you need. But you don't need a download for every single one of those. I would say one for each module will be good. Now, what is a download? It's like a PDF or a checklist or a calendar or like if you're teaching guitar theory, maybe you have a chord chart. If you're teaching music theory, maybe the circle of fifths, anything like that. I mean, just anything that they can grab and download and scribble on. It just makes your course feel that much more worth the value. And when you advertise your course, you can even advertise it as that. You're going to get these downloads, okay? Super helpful. It's not that hard to make. It just takes a little bit of time. I strongly recommend them. You're going to also build a coaching product. So what I strongly advise you to do is your online courses, your main bread and butter thing you're going to sell. You're going to sell an online course, which is typically somewhere between $199 to $599. And usually you can ask people you can set it up so that they can pay in installments, like over a year, 6 months, whatever. Kajabi does all that, by the way. Or they can pay it outright, whichever you want to do. There's different methods and theories on how to do it. I'm going to explain those further in another video, but not this video. But having a coaching product, it does 2 things. One, it allows people to just, if they want to pay $200 an hour for your time, they have the option to do it. Wouldn't you do online coaching, one-on-one for somebody for $200? I absolutely would. I've had people pay me that to do that. 2, it validates your product. If you're offering yourself and saying my time is worth $200 an hour, it makes whatever you're selling seem that much more valuable. Like, this guy is legit. This girl is legit. She knows her shit, because she wouldn't be selling herself for $200 an hour. What they don't realize is that very few people are going to purchase that coaching call. Every once in a while it might happen. But you're showing people that you're valuable. You're not expecting them to buy the coaching call. You're just showing them that you're valuable. And then when they see your product, they believe you even that much more. And then what you're going to do is create one more product. It's called a tripwire product. A tripwire product is your low-end product. It's something that's going to be like $20, so that if somebody comes across your website and they stumble upon your value or whatever you're offering, and they're like, I'm just not ready to sign up yet, you can say, totally, no problem. I have a tripwire product. Tripwire, just like in like a trap, like in the military, if you tripwire, it gives a signal to the other people, meaning you, that this person is a ripe prime customer to buy your product. Is it manipulative? No, it's actually human psychology. It's the way we are. If we go to a website and we buy, let's say, a plugin or guitar strings, we're more likely to buy something again from that website, because if we had a positive transaction with them. So if I go to a website and I buy guitar strings for $10, it's not very much. But then when I see that they have a sale on blah, 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 I'll go, well, that last time I checked out, and did the checkout process through that website was easy, I have no problem doing this again. So you're going to be way more likely to jump in and purchase something else from them. It's just human psychology. So a Tripwire product would be, you can purchase this 20 question evaluation of your skill level to figure out where you are. Or I have a tiny little mini course on how to do G chords all over the neck of the guitar. It's just all it is about G chords. And if you want to download it, it's $20 or $10 or whatever. So you're going to create a Tripwire product. This is your lowest end product. And you want to sell those. And the great thing about a Tripwire product is it's going to pay for your marketing. So when you get ready to start selling your course online, and that's the next phase we're going to talk about here, your Tripwire product supplies the money for you to do that. So when you run Facebook ads, it's kind of free. Pretty cool. All right, moving on. The last one is you're going to launch this thing. So the launch process actually is a little bit extended, but you don't have to worry about this until you really get to a point where you're ready to sell your course. At this point, you've been giving a lot of value every week. You have really good clarity on what you're doing. You've got the software you need. You're creating videos and you're building your course. That may take you 2 months. That is okay. It's better to take the time you need to make a really good product that you believe in, that you would want to take. Make a course that you would want to take. And when you have really clear steps that I'm giving you right now, it's not hard. You just follow the process. And then when you're ready, you go to launch it. It took me 2 months of creating videos. Again, I did overkill. I went way too far. At the time, I didn't know the information I know now about that you don't need it to be super complicated. And you can teach something that's small. It doesn't have to be a huge thing like music production. That's almost too much to ever ask somebody to learn. But when you go to launch, you're going to need a website. Again, Kajabi provides all the tools, hosting, everything for that. When you create a website, you've already purchased a domain. So you have a domain, let's say it's the Triple Threat Artist, and now you're building a website. It's going to be the triplethreatartist.com. To connect these two together, normally you would go into your domain hosting service and you would connect it to the server that your website's being hosted on. But Kajabi has a in-between. It has this in-between service called Cloudflare. It's free, and you have to connect it to that. And the reason why is they want your website to be very secure. So if anybody purchases anything through your website, all the their contact information, credit card information is secure on their server. You don't want to ever have, and this was, I've got stories about this in the past, but Kajabi is really good about making sure everything's really secure. I'm going to walk you through this in another video sometime about how to exactly do that. We just don't have time to do that. It's very specific, but you don't have to be a rocket scientist to do this. You can do this stuff. None of this stuff requires having a coder or a website builder. If you've ever just like created an image with some words on it, you can make a website. It's really, really that easy. Next is pipelines. So pipelines is a method of gaining, you're going to create a way of getting people's emails. And this is actually something you will have already done in the give value section. So in the give value section, you're going to have created your first pipeline, and I'm going to show you how to do that. And pipeline is the same thing as what you're going to hear the word funnel. Funnels are a way of getting contact information to lead them to purchasing your product. So you want to really understand how this works. And it's fun. I really enjoy this part of the whole thing. It intimidates a lot of people, but once you've done it, it's like, oh my gosh, this is really cool. And then you're going to advertise. And there's a whole way in which we recommend you advertise through Facebook and Instagram and target that ideal customer that we talked about at the beginning. And then lastly, you're going to learn how to scale it. And scale it just means grow it. So if you want your class to grow, you may have a goal of having 20 consistent students that are purchasing your course. But what if you wanted 100? What would you need to do that? So there's some thoughts and ideas about that as well. So that is the 5 big areas. And again, I hope you can see that. It's not the most clear thing because I'm looking at PDFs here. But that's the 5 areas. The jumping in, just getting your feet wet, starting to dig into what you want to do, where you want to go, your goals, clarifying that, getting familiar with the software, getting familiar with Kajabi, deciding on your school name, getting your domain, getting your social media stuff set up. Then you're going to start giving value. And I cannot emphasize enough about this. This is, if you don't do anything else, do this. Start a YouTube channel. It's free. Start creating videos every week. Just one video a week. You set aside time and you create a video. One of the students in this class, Melly, who is just brilliant. She's in the Access course, and she was going to be on this call. I think she's going to watch the replay. I just noticed that in the last couple months, it looks like she started a voice class. So she's teaching people online. She has a YouTube channel, and she's got thousands of views already. People are hungry for this stuff. They want to be shown the direction. They want to be shown where to go. And if you give people value, they will find you. So once you start giving this value, everything's going to keep pointing back to your blog, and your blog is going to have an opt-in on it. And let me show you again what that looks like. So again, here's the website, the Triple Threat Artist. It's nothing fancy, just some images and some video and some text. And I had to think about it a lot, about what I wanted to say. But at the very end of it is an opt-in. And if you go to the blog, this blog gets advertised every week. This is the one Josh did. Again, Josh is one of the guys that's working on this.
This week.
And he's giving a video, and it's just, there's nothing fancy about it. It's just a webcam, and he's telling you about, this one's called Vocal Mix Levels. It's getting the vocal to sit in the mix really nicely. Okay, it's like 1 minute long. It's nothing. You do one of these videos once a week, you embed it into a blog, and then you have an opt-in on it. So in this, there's a big button right there. It says stop looking for a producer. If they could click that, it pops up a video I did all about an offer. And it says, do you want to purchase this? And you can purchase it right there. Now, if they didn't do that, they can go over here and it says, hey, do you want this free download? This is my lead magnet. It's a guideline. It's a map I created on how to produce a song. Yeah, I want that. So they click the big button. And you guys, I'm sure have done this and fallen for it yourself. I've done it a million times on other sites. You put your name and email in, and then I give you a detailed instruction on how to use this cool thing. This is my lead magnet. But even if I didn't have a lead magnet yet, let's say I have nothing else, I haven't even started, you've got to just have value. You're just giving. Because what you're doing is you're building trust. And just ask them, even if you have nothing to show, just say, hey, would you like to get on my email list? Just have the email button right there. Sure, I'll get on your email list. They put their email in. It's pretty cool. Do you guys have any questions? It looks like Amber's gone. Jim and Elle, is this making any sense or resonating with you at all? Because I'd love your feedback.
I may have missed it, but did you give an example of what one of the tripwires would be?
Yeah. So a tripwire, for instance, it might be like if I was teaching a guitar class, what I want people to eventually buy is to buy my course, right? I want to sell my course. But a tripwire product might be like, I've got a tiny little mini course. It's $20. If you purchase this little mini course right here, I will give you or for $20, I'll give you a mini course on how to do arpeggios on the guitar, or how to do the G chord in all these different positions.
Okay.
That's all it is. It's just a tiny mini course, or it could be a cheat sheet or a download. Usually cheat sheets and downloads are usually free. You're not really charging for those. That's usually your lead magnet. But a tripwire product is just whatever you can do. Can you find something that you want to teach? Like, for instance, songwriting is something you want to teach. Can you find something, maybe how to use the circle of fifths? in chord progressions, or I don't know, how to write really cool lyrics, a great lyrical exercise.
Right.
What that does is by purchasing a tiny product from you, they're way more apt to purchase something bigger later on. Mm-hmm. It's just the way we are, because you're developing trust. If I sell you something small and you go, well, that was painless and easy and it actually had value, and then I say, cool, I've got a bigger thing if you want that, you're like, okay, tell me about it.
Awesome.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any other questions. Is it okay if I see the screen that you shared again with the
oh yeah
you made?
Yeah, and I could send this to you guys.
Oh, that'd be great.
Yeah, I'll just send it to you right now.
Because I like the way it's broken down. It's very clear.
Yeah. I need to format it better before I send it to you guys, but you can look at it right now. But yeah, I'm not saying all of this is super easy. I'm not going to promise anybody and say, oh, this is so easy, but it's straightforward. Mm-hmm. There's not a lot of, the only part you really have to be creative on is how you want to teach your own course. But as far as how to get into it, how to get everything set up, how to clarify it, how to narrow down what you want, how to give value, how to launch it, how to build it, how to market it, how to scale it, all of those things have been done 1,000 times. I'm just relaying this information to you guys.
Yeah, and as you were talking about it, I kind of was making some connections about the times that I have kind of bought into certain things, or like, what do you call it? The lead magnet, you know? I've definitely had a bunch of those. So.
I have too. I have absolutely too. I'm going to, here is the link for Kajabi. If you end up wanting to just noodle around with it, they have, I think, a trial version. I think if you go to that, you can just try it out and see if you like it. The thing about Kajabi, and I know it is money involved in this, but if you're serious about getting into this, you have to have a software to do this. It'll save you a crap load of money going with Kajabi. And in my opinion, it's the best one out there.
Right. Awesome. Yeah. So I'll definitely look into it. And it's nice to have like a realistic expectation of how much it would cost to create an online course.
Yep.
Because when you were talking about all the things within Teachable, I didn't even realize that was like an entire process to have to get all of this software just to make it work.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. And it's amazing how it used to be so complicated. Kajabi is relatively new, and when it started, all it was like a website builder, but then they built it into this course builder, and then they built it into this, so it's expanded like 4 or 5 times. I went to the Kajabi conference in April. It was in Irvine, California, and all the biggest people that do influencers and marketing people are all using Kajabi now. Nice. All of them. Yeah.
That's cool. Yeah, I'm definitely going to check out the website and look into it because it is something like you said in the beginning, it's about creating like a revenue flow,
Mm-hmm.
That's something it's not trading your time for money. And my partner and I have definitely been trying to figure out different ways to tap into that. And I have a background in education. So like developing course curriculum is something that I've done for a while. So to put it into an online course and have it simplified like this kind of feels like I could knock out a bunch of stuff.
You have no problem with this. You'd be amazing. Seriously, that's the hardest part, is when people actually have to teach it. Mm-hmm. It's that build part. Building the modules is what usually hangs people up, because they're either really shy, mm-hmm. and you're not shy, you can tell. I love it. Or they don't know how to clarify things. And the biggest thing that you're selling 2 things. And I was reminded of this big time when I got into this. You're selling 2 things. You're selling clarity. Mm-hmm. You're taking information that may seem overwhelming to people, like songwriting. Where do I even start? Or I think I have some knowledge in this, but how do I get into this? You're taking something really complicated and you're breaking it down into 5 steps, just like I did. And then the second thing is you're encouraging the fuck out of them.
Right.
I have been amazed by people that have joined the Triple Threat Artist, and all they really wanted was just to be encouraged.
Yeah.
They hardly wanted any curriculum. They're just like, well, that's cool, but how's my song? Am I doing okay? And I'm like, you're doing great. And they're like,
Yeah.
here's more money. Just tell me that. Just keep telling me that I'm doing great.
Yeah, people want
Like,
validation
okay.
for sure, and they want guidance, and so it makes sense.
Yes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It does feel like it's something meaningful to be able to share knowledge, you know. So
Yeah.
I think it's a good way to make money, and also just feel like you said, like you're adding value to the world by giving, like offering a skill set, you know.
I love that. I love that you see it that way too. Sometimes I've had people say to me, okay, but like, I like painters, like if you're a really good painter and I'm saying, teach it. They're like, well, yeah, but I don't want to give away my secrets.
Right.
That comes into play.
Yeah.
Here's what I say to that. You do 1,000 things that are not secret in learning how to paint. You're just building on all the greats, right?
Mm-hmm.
You don't have to tell your tiny, you leave out a couple details of what those things that make you unique. You don't have to share that. That's totally fine. But teach these disciplines that have gotten you to where you are that make Jim and L.
Right.
Nobody else has. I mean, even though you're not inventing songwriting, but you're sharing it in a way that only you can share it.
Right.
And that's the magic of it is I have a take on this that nobody's had before. I have a perspective that certain people are going to resonate with you way more than they're going to resonate with me. And that's what you're selling.
Yeah, I understand that.
Cool.
Awesome. Thank you so much. I appreciate this. I'm going to check out, I wrote down the address for the website, so I'll check that out too.
Absolutely. No, it's a pleasure. Let me know if you have any questions or anything. Again, I'm going to eventually build a course that's going to be exactly what I just taught you.
Right.
But it'll go into more details on that.
Yeah, of course.
But this is really good for me to start explaining it and showing, because it helps me go, okay, I could talk about this a little clearer, and that part I got hung up on, that kind of thing. So I really appreciate you just being on and listening. This is really good for me.
Yeah, definitely. Just for my own knowledge, how much are you planning to sell the course for?
I don't know, honestly. It would probably be a couple $100. It probably wouldn't be a huge. Yeah, it wouldn't be like a $2,000 investment or something.
Right. And it would be something that I'm assuming, like, if it's 5 modules, and maybe it's like you market it as like a 5-week course, or something where it's like you can learn this quickly kind of thing.
Yeah, it's not going to be a huge, time commitment. Here's the other advantage of 5. Let me just throw this out to you. Oftentimes, anytime you do an online course, you always want to give a 30-day money-back guarantee.
Right.
And you can roll your modules out in stages, meaning when people sign up for your course, they can see module 1 the first week, but they can't see anything else. And then the second week, it says, module 2 is up. You can now view module 2, and then they can dig into that. So if you have a 30-day money-back guarantee, and there's 5 modules, and they only come once a week, then if they quit within that 30 days, they'll never see that 5th module.
Right.
And it's not that you're trying to hide it from it. It's just, it gives people an incentive to not get their money back.
Right.
They want to see that last module.
Right. They're like, oh, I made it this far already.
Right. So you don't have to roll it out that way. You can roll it. I didn't do that. I just rolled it. I just was like, here's the whole course. It's, go at it yourself. The other thing is you can make your course be a subscription. So the Triple Threat Artist is actually not a purchasable product. It's just a subscription to information.
Right.
So people pay $57 a month.
Okay.
And they have full access to the curriculum and full access to the Facebook group and online teaching and office hours and things like that. And what's really interesting about that is by making it a subscription, most people that have joined that class have stayed in it over 1.5 years.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, which I did not expect. I thought people would be in it for maybe 4 or 5 months and quit. So if I had just set it up like, this is $300 and then you're done, they'd be gone in 5 or 6 months, right? They'd pay it off and then they'd be gone. But I made mine a subscription. I'm not saying every business works well this way. I'm just saying it worked. It just, to be honest, it was an accident. It was just a happy accident. I just created it that way because I didn't know really what I was doing. And it ended up being the perfect way to do it. because people stay in it. They just love being part of that community.
Right. And that makes sense, especially if you're building up the community around it. So kind of like how the Six Figure Songwriting course has a community
Yes.
with the triple threat artists.
Here's one more thing about that. So if you wanted to, I always promise a community with it. Anytime you release a product, I think it's really important to have a community with it. If you wanted to, you can build your community inside Kajabi. So they have to log in, and it's like Facebook within Kajabi.
Right.
And the advantage of that is that you can control the membership a lot better. So currently the way it is with Six Figure Songwriting is if somebody leaves and takes off, we have to remember to go into Facebook and remove them from that group. With Kajabi, if somebody bailed, they lose access to all the community immediately.
Right.
So it's attached.
Mm-hmm.
I have never used the community aspect of that, but I'm going to be trying it out very soon here.
Right, because I was going to ask, I'm sure that, I know you said it only takes a couple of hours every week to kind of like build up those blogs and put that information out there. But I was thinking about managing like the community, the system. That seems like it would be, that to me would be the part that I would have trouble maintaining and being sustainable in. It's like, trying to do that. Yeah.
Well, and that's where it really helps if you have like a virtual assistant. You can have someone chime in. Like we hired Delana over at Catch the Moon Music. She lives in Florida. She didn't know anything about music, but she's a great virtual assistant. So all she does is jump in. She answers people's questions. She checks the inbox. She does those kinds of things. I promise when you start out, you'll want to be in there because you'll love it so much. You'll love the people that you have, and you'll want to jump in every day. And all you have to do is be in there maybe 20 minutes a day or less. I mean, or just check in once in a while and just make a funny post or here's some information. It doesn't take much time. It's only when it gets really big, like Six Figure Songwriting is huge. That's when it becomes taxing and you really need help. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't worry. I wouldn't let that drag you down or, I don't know, be a roadblock for you because you'll probably love it. You know, if you're teaching people, they kind of become your babies and you want to be with them, you know. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I don't have any other questions other than that.
Okay.
It's exciting. I definitely want to think a little bit more because I do think some of the class ideas I have are more up there. There's a lot of group activity because I was writing them for after school programs. So thinking about how to make that more of an individual thing and provide the community, but make it be something that can be like an online community. I think that would be.
And again, I would start by building a YouTube channel. That would be the very first thing. And then you're going to use Kajabi to build that opt-in so that at the end of every YouTube channel, it says, hey, if you'd love to be on my mailing list, go to this link and it'll have a link. And so you're constantly driving people to your blog and your value that you're giving. They kind of feed back and forth. I cannot underestimate or overemphasize. I cannot overemphasize the power of YouTube. It is an incredible source. And the people that really make it on YouTube are the ones that consistently put a video out every week, at least one. It doesn't have to be long. It can be super short, just like Josh's was 1 minute and 8 seconds long.
Right. Awesome.
Yeah. So let me know if you have any other questions going forward. Anybody that's watching the replay, I will send you an email with a link to this replay. I guess you wouldn't be seeing this if you hadn't gotten that email. And then with a link to the Kajabi and a link to ScreenFlow if you want to ever use ScreenFlow. And that's it. Yeah. And I'll be in touch. If you don't mind, you'll be on my mailing list for this information. If you ever want to unsubscribe, just hit the unsubscribe button. It won't hurt my feelings. I'll cry a little bit. But that's
all right. Thank you so much, Zion.
You're so welcome. It's good to have you on here.
Have a good one.
Okay, bye-bye.